I mean, talking about SSG and Quick Esports, that is going to be our next match. Of course, we're looking at SpaceStation first.
We did just see these guys.
Just see them, yeah. I mean, they're coming off from a tough loss, but you know.
It was a tough loss, but there's big tier differences in the EMEA, right? So SpaceStation maybe taking a tough L though. However, I still think we did see moments of greatness. Team fight-wise, they were still able to take some decent fights to ENCE. I do feel like compositionally, ENCE had the better read in this series, which could be scary for SSG. Like, do you rework things? Do you go back to the drawing board? Honestly, given this team's history, I think they're going to stick with their strengths and stick with what they practiced. And, you know, they have a history of making those work even if they're not necessarily the meta. And honestly, for Quick Esports, it's going to be a tough task to replicate the individual prowess that ENCE used to win that series.
Yeah, let's be real. SpaceStation, they're probably the third best team in EMEA here. So even though you got demoted to the lower bracket, now you're playing Quick Esports. They should be favored against Quick Esports. But then again, you know, Quick Esports, they're also been running through this lower bracket. They beat out Rock Esports, which many people were surprised by. You look at this team, you got some veterans in there you recognize. Don, for example, on the tank role. Danet, who was part of the British Hurricane for the longest time as well. Been fighting here in Tier 2 and now finally gets a chance here in the EMEA main event to maybe compete with some of the former Overwatch League players, right? So this is a hungry Quick Esports team that now against SpaceStation, who took a loss earlier today, maybe this is the perfect time for Quick Esports to come out there, take down a team like SpaceStation, earn yourself more circuit points, right? And also establish your name a little bit here. So this is a great opportunity for these guys to really make an impression on us here.
There's definitely blood in the water, and I also want to highlight Fee, who I think are Fee or Fi, I'm not exactly sure on the pronunciation,
it's
but
like the Greek.
Very
Greek
solid
letter, Jake.
Fi. Okay. Great flex player, flanker player, which I think will be crucial to beating down on SpaceStation, right? With these, you know, slow mobility Mauga comps. It was Kedster's Echo that was really uncontested in the backline, finding these picks that I don't think he should be able to get. So individual play is going to be critical. SSG, though, going to take us to Ilios. Interesting. Maybe that suggests they want to lean on the Winston as they did on Blizzard World. That was one of the closer maps in the series, I would say. So still going to be interesting to see what SSG decided to do and what look we see from Quick. We haven't seen it on the main broadcast yet.
All right. Well, we're going to jump right into the game. Second match of the day, SSG versus Quick. Let's jump right in. Casters, take it away.
Thank you so much. I'm excited for this next match, but I hope it's anything but Quick Esports, Necra, and I don't know if SSG are going to make this or not.
I don't know. I think that SpaceStation, they're warmed up. As the desk was saying, it's very difficult to compare like SpaceStation Gaming's DPS to the DPS that we see on ENCE. And I think overall, ENCE has set themselves up to be easily top 2 in the region alongside Twisted Minds. And then that fourth spot, talking to some players during the group stages, they think that like place second through 6th is really close. So it's very hard to tell, but I think in this situation, I would give SpaceStation Gaming a leg up here over Quick Esports. Just maybe a little bit of recency bias, but I do think that they have a lot of play time together, which can really help out to be able to get the better of a team.
And just knowing the personalities on SSG, I don't think they're going to take that loss too hard. I mean, the desk alluded to the compositional difference, and SSG will always stick to their game, minus maybe backbone swapping to a Sombra. Maybe that'll help out a lot more against a team like Quick Esports, who may run a similar style to ENCE around the Orisa of Dawn, but or maybe he wants to run some Mauga, not sure. He used to be the Orisa Rhine guy back in the day, but it will be a Mauga off, you would think, on Control, but SSG now opting for the Winston instead.
I remember that. I remember Dawn's Orisa being super impactful when we got a chance to see him in EMEA Contender. So I love that maybe we get a chance to see that a little bit later. But wow, is this Mauga composition something else? We are seeing a Torbjorn alongside a Reaper. This is not a drill. And I think the Psycho dealing with this teleporter is going to make this job way easier for SpaceStation Gaming.
Yeah, there's a lot of veteran names. If you paid attention to Contenders EU for many years, you'd recognize the hit scan deadliness of someone like Fi. Danet, who was known for his Doomfist, now a flex DPS on the Torbjorn of all things, hoping to mark that Echo well, but Psycho and Sparker are dealing with that turret well, and SSG taking all the space they can as a Hottie stomps somebody like a Goomba.
That's how you can really make this Winston team work. We did end up seeing this Winston team into like Roadhog. If you were paying attention to some of the co-streams that happened during the group stages, that was maybe one of the funniest matches to tune into Funny Astro's POV. Just the comms. It sounded like Space Station Gamer were having so much fun. And in that type of scenario, like you're still running Winston into such a difficult team to actually get a dive on. And that's exactly what Quick Esports have right now. But make quick work of Dawn in the front line.
Wow, like they're almost about to touch the spawn room doors. I said I didn't want this to be Quick Esports, okay? But SSG, I like that they're staying aggressive. They clearly haven't given up hope, even though they're in the lower bracket. And Jake talked about Echo being that kind of tank buster as something that you run against Mauga players. And so far, Don is taking a lot of hits. SSG finally forced to jump out. No, Psychos is still hovering over the hills, lasering people as when they think that they're safe, when they think they have time to heal. Now Danit is staggered too. This is 70% for SSG, and they haven't been challenged enough to even use a single ultimate. I don't even think Psycho has died.
I don't know if anybody has died yet on Space Station Gaming. They still have 5 ults to play with. Fi is actually going to switch over to the Widowmaker, hoping to push back Space Station. If you do get an early pick there, at the very least, you're able to get out of the spawn doors. It's going to be the Cassidy, though, that Fi does lock in to make this next engagement. But this next one is the last one if Quick Esports can't get anything done with these ults.
And if you're Quick Esports, you don't even have all your ults. And SSG gonna use the dupe. Psycho just wanted to preserve his life and prevent the flip from going through, but it's too late. Great focus out of Quick Esports. Primal, Hottie, just having a bit of fun. I think so. SSG now using the rest of their ultimates. Sound Barrier, Kitsune Rush, Overclock, Dala, and Abik doing their best to keep Quick Esports up, who had to swap to a few different heroes, and they'll have even more time to crunch down on what the right solution will be against SSG. Okay, we're doing squats now too, Funny Astro. Oh my god.
That's just the typical leg workout for Lucio, you know? Gotta have the strong thighs for the wall riding. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just seeing how SSG are using their ults tells me that they're
very
underestimating. They're confident. They're underestimating their opponent. They're having some fun. They know they can get away with stuff like that. Like Yuvar at SSG like got first picked, and they would still like primal in, invest all of their ultimates because they know they're gonna win every single fight. Fi is still trying to find like where he's slotting in this composition. We saw him on Cassidy and different things, the Echo. And we'll see if the Sojourn sticks.
Sojourn works out nicely, as we've seen for some of these Amalgam compositions, because even if you're not playing together as a team, Fi can then take an off angle and be self-sufficient to try to get the mark on Sparker's Sojourn or even Psycho in the skies, as long as you can hit those headshots too.
Okay, Quick Esports saw somebody on the flank. Oh, that's a guy with skates. And SSG dove in right after when Quick Esports were distracted, and there's so much space on the side of this dive. And they get to jump out as soon as Quick Esports want to engage. Hottie and friends just leave, and Quick Esports may be fine with that. They may get a chance to cap. SSG are very split from each other once again, and SSG were kind of like that on Blizzard World in their previous series, but this time it's working out. Landon is able and has time to frag out 2 people, so at the end, SSG take the point.
A little scrappy there for the first fight, but with Space Station now taking control, they get to play a little more aggressive, and they still don't have any ultimates to work with, but they've been winning all of these frag wars that it doesn't really matter. This teleporter, though, from Danit is going to help them close the gap, but Fi is in a huge world of hurt.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna blame Fi for that one. I remember how goated he was when I cast Contenders.
Yeah, me too.
And I knew if he had space and a team to protect him and things were a little bit more even, he could look just as good. But when there's a Winston constantly on top of you and Quick Esports don't know how to deal with flankers, it's a tough road ahead. A Beak is missing. Not a lot of heals for Quick Esports. They can't even grab Mega without dying. And SSG, it's looking like a 200-0 angle.
This might be a bloodbath. This has been so dominant from SpaceStation so far. Just so predictive of the teleporter placement, ready to get the jump whenever Quick Esports start to take and engage. Like, watch this. Teleporter gets used, they go up to the high ground. It's a little bit further away now, so it's not going to be an immediate engagement here by SpaceStation, but it was still, like, you saw the disruptor shot get popped down right on top of it.
And that's the best way to counter a Symmetra teleport setup, is to initiate. Do not let them have time to set up. And Hottie realizes this, and this is the strength of Winston against this Quick Esports we're trying to set up. Got primaled off. SSG only had to use one ultimate. You got a cage fight from Psycho that was built up during the Echo Dupe, but Quick Esports have fights at the front, fights at the back. The threats are surrounding them. Quick Esports use a sound barrier, but that's getting shredded, and Fi has the overclock and yet forces Psycho out of his dupe form, but it did not result in any following kills. Overtime is gonna dwindle away, and SpaceStation, I guess, aim for the stars on that one.
Shoot for the moon and land among the stars. Yeah, wow. They're just going the distance right now when it comes down to that first map, and I'm a little worried at the moment about Quick Esports finding a solution to this super coordinated dive. It's why we've been able to see SpaceStation find success with this, is the synergy, the great utility of their cooldowns to make those engagements so difficult for Quick Esports, whether it was being predictive of that teleporter or just Echo beaming a Lucio wall riding around the map.
Yeah. Just Psycho is a pain in their butts, literally. I think Dawn, maybe it's possible to swap to either Rissa to have more tankiness, try to absorb some of that damage a bit better. Javelins allow you to maybe get a stun onto someone, but that maybe was just a compositional difference. We don't get to see the true potential of players on Quick Esports who have been around the scene for so long, never got their roses, I would say, didn't get the same spotlight as other players in the scene did. And this is their opportunity. Unfortunately, it is the lower bracket for them, but this year, this could be their moment to prove that they belong at the top.
I agree with that. Every single one of these players I'm remembering from EMEA contenders like 3-4 years ago, and they were always so impressive when looking at some of the finishes that they had in contenders. I know some of them have gone on to play in the Overwatch League and have also gone on to play in some of the Flash Ops tournaments and other opportunities that Blizzard has provided, but it's great to see them continue to work hard to find that success, and it's still a huge accomplishment making it to this top 8 stage.
Yeah, maybe just some swaps, and it depends just how. Okay, even the chat agrees that this match could go this way, but there's still some belief in the Quick Esports camp. I'm thinking maybe a Tracer could have helped just chase down this Echo of Psycho a bit better, and Orisa, we know how good Dawn's Orisa can be. We saw it in the Overwatch League last year, and that seems to match up a bit better against the Winston, to say the least. But we'll see how much thinking they'll get to do, because we're going to go into map 2 very, very soon. But before that, we're going to go to a quick break.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Well, SpaceStation did a lot of work on that first map. We gotta show y'all the stats because how good they were broke our system. Take a look at this KD because SSG didn't die at all, not once.
Yeah, what you're seeing is they didn't die. Quick Esports didn't get a kill. Wow, I don't think we're gonna see that very often in OWCS, so take a screenshot of that and keep it for the memory books or a meme format later. I don't know, we've got some creative people in the community.
Yeah, we had that segment on the pre-show too about meme formats, but I don't think Quick Esports think this is funny. This could also be a warm-up div. SSG did just play against ENCE, and you know, the desk said, and we all agree, they did a fantastic job. It was a sweep against them, but this is a match that SSG are expected to win, and Quick Esports didn't have a match that they just played. They've been waiting for SSG to hurry up, and they did, but now SSG brought the fire.
Playing ENCE was kind of like the training weights, I feel like, because you have such a tough opponent. You are totally sweating in a matchup like that. You know, I can't even imagine how locked in you have to be to have to play Sojourn against Kai of all people. And even looking at Psycho subbing in for Blizzard World, it still looked good. Like, he's still playing in this roster, not because he lost a map, but because he is competent, right? And so I'm super excited to see that this loss has not broken their spirits yet, and hopefully the adrenaline still pumps so that they are still feeling locked in and focused for the task ahead.
Now this dive from SSG will begin establishing on that high ground. At least there's a Reaper there from Phi, so this could be used to blow up Hottie. Shax may have a hard time kind of running after Psycho there, and doesn't want to go in too deep either. How different Sombra is in Overwatch 2, and Don's sticking to the Mauga, and now he's isolated himself, and that's the danger of going up against an Echo. The focusing beam, all the sticky nades, it's a lot of damage, and this can bring down a tank very quickly. And if Don isolates himself even for a second, like, and a Beak doesn't teleport in, Don's gonna be shredded instantly, and this is a very easy take for a SpaceStation.
Oh, well, even if a Beak actually does swift step into the Mauga, you're making yourself an easier target too, because of the DPS passive stunting a little bit of that healing by 15%. Like, it's still it's palpable impact with how much healing you're actually able to do in a situation like that. You're not out healing the damage being done to you. At the very least, though, Quick Esports, they get a chance to get a close hold here under the archway. So maybe this is the start of the defense here.
Really good shots out of Shax, and I'm excited for him to be on the Tracer. This was a swap that I suggested before this map started. If Psycho continues on the Echo, Tracer becomes a really good counter to that, to have more mobility to chase that Echo down once she does come back to Earth. But Shax has also a Lucio chasing them around, forcing out blinks, forcing out recalls, is now in the middle of the team and didn't have enough blinks to get back. And that's where a Beak, maybe using a Suzu, could have salvaged that moment, but Shax needs the team to step up in those moments so that the Tracer isn't the only target in those fights. Kitsune rushes are going to be exchanged, and Quick Esports...
First Elim!
Let's go. They're trying to defend this choke, and wow, they sent SSG back to spawn.
First Elim, let's go! Hype for Quick Esports. They get the defense too, and such an advantageous position for having that defensive side. Right under the archway can be a little bit difficult to breach because you're coming through a window, you're going under the archway, just very telegraphed positions here to try to get the uptake.
Ooh. Sparker is feeling it, needs to be careful, but Dawn is so low. The Soundbearer is trying to keep him up during the cage fight. And he's going up against Psycho, who just duped him, and Shax throws a pulse bomb through all of that. It's so chaotic. Hottie will even have Primal, so they can, SSG can continue to be aggressive. And oh my god, as Dollar was trying to escape, he got the cage fight got brought out by Psycho. A lot of ults invested there from SSG, but ends up working out. They can get some progress going. There's a bit of a stall there by Shax, and now moving forward.
It's good though. Like Quick Esports, they did get a big team fight win. They are starting to stall off time from this bank, and we were able to get out some pretty critical ultimates here from SpaceStation, so that now you get a chance to come in with the Kitsune Rush. You do have Pulse Bomb. SpaceStation doesn't have an overwhelming amount of pressure to put onto this final point, when sometimes we see the second point and you gotta have like maybe 3 or 4 ultimates sometimes to get it over the line. It can be tough to break.
Don trying to reposition. Potty jumps after him, and he can continue to harass him. He still has the primal, forced to pop it now. And Quick Esports in a little bit of trouble now that they've chased down some kills. SSG's punish is just that much better. Don, realizing that the cart is being pushed, has been left behind, and SSG are about to cap, and this is a bit of a fumble out of Quick Esports.
That is a cap. That is cap. That came through. Those are staggers. And now it's SpaceStation moving into this third point. That is a fumble. Like, you wanted to go in there with the rush, with the pulse bomb. The pulse bomb is also going to be a whiff and a miss here, and it feels like Quick Esports are panicking, trying to get out of these spawn room doors when Hottie is just T-posing in their faces.
Yeah. I mean, SSG, they're winning their front to back fight, and Don tried to go on like a flank, and it just didn't pan out. Then he brought a beak with him, so then a beak wasn't healing the rest of the people getting steamrolled by SSG. So 3 minutes and a few more meters before the end of C, and Bunny Astro dies. I mean, he's still trying to get organized with the team to use a sound barrier, and Shax knows this, so he hunts down everybody trying to set up these ultimates. Now Landon uses the Kitsune Rush, and this is starting to give SpaceStation an edge. Sparker can continue to get picks, maybe punish Dala. Yeah, he's out of position. A beak is not in line of sight of Don until now. He puts himself in danger. SSG have leftover ultimates now, including a dupe and an overclocked dupe at that. And SSG are getting tested here and there. And Quick Esports need to quickly think of a plan, or else this time bank is gonna get ugly.
That is 2.5 minutes that SpaceStation are able to complete this map with. And it felt like a consistent snowball throughout the map, where you're right, like a couple of tests came through. There was that good defensive fight under the archway of second point. And then there were some good picks that happened towards the end of second and into the third, but SpaceStation have a lot of time to work with, like not a full steamroll, but Quick Esports, I worry about them even being able to finish the map with how SpaceStation have played even defensive dive on control.
I think there's flashes in the pan to Quick Esports. Shax's Tracer, this is what he was known for forever and always.
In Overwatch League 2.
Yeah, and his mechanics still there. He's still a threat, but SpaceStation can just turn and deal with that flanker quite easily, like when Shax was trying to get work done at this main archway, when Shax was going after everyone on point C. And Quick Esports just need to be coordinated that if their Tracer is going in on a flank, they need to push from the front. But Quick Esports are pushing from all over the place. Don, I don't think Mauga is really a flank type of tank. So just Don has to be careful on how these charges are being used in a Winston mirror. I'm excited for this.
I am too. What day and age is this to see a dive v dive in EMEA of all places? I love to see it. I'm excited to see how Dan can coordinate with the rest of the team, playing around this Sojourn, playing around this Tracer. Disruptor shots, though, do make this pivot a little interesting.
Fi's skin is so funny. She's got a helmet on. It keeps throwing me off that people can just play whatever skin. Well, his biker self is going to be in trouble. SpaceStation are just winning all these fights. And they're chasing down Quick Esports, who are now stuck in this tiny room, ready to get staggered. Don is by himself, and SSG are going to dwindle him down.
Respawns are closer though for Quick Esports, and they are taking bodies with them. So while SpaceStation is able to clean up these picks, maybe Quick Esports can get out of the gates fast enough that they are able to take advantage of that. But oh my god, I was so worried. Shax got deleted too though. So this is going to be a standstill. That advantage is now gone. The window has closed.
Yeah, everyone's catching strays.
Dan's been some good engagements though. I was really impressed. Like immediate jump in, getting a member of SpaceStation down, did get another pick as well. So he is playing this Winston very aggressively and making it harder for Psycho.
Oh, Hadi has already got the pounce on Fi, and Don was still trying to find a good target, so the quicker initiative out of SSG nets them an early advantage, and great pulls. Psycho has been consistently able to generate ultimates in that Echo dupe form, which tells me that he is not getting pressured whatsoever. I mean, he's still on fire. I don't even know if he's died. Either way, Quick Esports need to deal with that dupe, because the ultimates that Psycho is choosing to use are scary.
He's charging them up so quickly too, and I feel like that's been really rare sight in OWCS so far, is seeing those Echoes actually get the ult online and using it. So yeah, very deadly, very scary.
Wow, Quick Esports are going deep. They just want to access that backline of SSG. They know that if they focus Hadi, he's just going to jump away, and he's going to continue to do so. He's got Primal, but Quick Esports didn't assassinate the backline of SSG as intended. And SSG are going back and forth with them. Quick Esports, you know, Cena in the first take, but all thanks to Shax. But that's all they're going to get this fight.
1 minute left too by the time that Quick Esports are able to make a re-engage. It's just the overclock left. Quick Esports have thrown so many ultimates at these fights and to no avail. So Fi is going to have the overclock of his life here. The SpaceStation still have a way to fight back with the sound barrier as well as this pulse bomb from Sparker.
And it makes you wonder, like, what is Shax's priority? Is it to help peel 4-5 when Hadi dives him? If this overclock is used, Hadi may want to pressure that and bubble that off. But no, the bubble's already been used. So Psycho is on kill duty. And he flies towards the back. He has Funny Astro by his side. He's got the speed and the firepower and what it takes to keep SSG kicking.
30 seconds left. One more attempt here for Quick Esports. Fi is going to switch over to the Widowmaker to see if he can get a quick pick out of the spawn, but goes back over, goes over to the Echo actually. So a little bit of a change up here that I maybe will be able to help just deal with Psycho, but Psycho is just waiting in the wings here with the duplicate to play aggressive.
You gotta look both sides of the road before you cross, or you got sticky grenades to the face, and
2 seconds.
At least Psycho dupes the Tracer. Best Shax in that moment. Quick Esports are down 1, and they got overtime to worry about. Dawn gets shredded by Psycho on the Tracer, and Quick Esports get full held on King's Row.
Little bit of a stop right now.
But hey, that means maybe the glass half full. SSG are back, baby. They're not going anywhere, it seems like.
They are so back.
So back.
They're so back. We kind of expected that though out of SSG. It would be a red flag if SpaceStation were not able to execute and live up to the expectations that people have put on this match. If it was some fumbles, maybe we would have some questions about whether SpaceStation Gaming does belong in the top 4 of this region. So I think they're here to continue to prove that, like, yeah, they've got it. They are dominating, and they still have a dog in this fight, even though that ENCE match was a 0-3 loss for them.
And I don't want to harp on the compositional choices. I'll let Jake be bad cop on the desk about this. Sometimes this just comes down to what you're scrimming and how much time you are spending scrimming, because obviously the more time you invest into practice, the more compositions that you get to try out, the more flexible your players become and more confident in what to swap to. Because I'm very surprised that Don wouldn't want to try something like the Orisa. He did at least go to the Winston thinking that mirror was going to work out, but Hadi, I know was like known as that Ryan quote one trick in the Overwatch League, but before he made the Overwatch League, Hottie was the best Winston in Europe. So that's still a tough task. I know times have changed. It's been many years since then, but that is still a tough mirror for Don to play into. But at least he doesn't have to stand by. He has a bit more control of his destiny, having more mobility. Shax obviously looks better on the Tracer. Fi is still getting into it, you know, still warming up. It's hard to see without the stats in front of me comparing, but there's a lot of potential on the Quick Esports side, but this could be an early exit for them.
It could. And I think, like, even though we did see the Mauga for a little while, the Winston from Dawn did look better. As you said, a little bit more agency for Dawn to be able to make those initiations. And he did walk away with picks. Like, yes, it was a full hold. Maybe they didn't get a chance to show off the Winston on the defense that they had, but Winston didn't look bad. It gave them a little bit more pressure onto SpaceStation. So I would love to see if the Winston is something that they could continue to run heading into this third map. There's still bright spots here for Quick Esports, but I think it's just the onus on SpaceStation Gaming to continue to live up to the hype that people are putting on them in this bracket.
Maybe, like, if I were to suggest, like, that compositional difference, and why I think Orisa is stronger for Quick Esports, is that they could just focus by playing front to back. I think SSG's weaknesses is when Hottie is forced out early. You saw exactly that against ENCE and how powerful they were at focusing down Hottie as soon as he jumps in, because you have a small window, a 5-6 second window to get inside of Winston's bubble, to pressure him out, to take the armor down, and Hottie isn't getting that same attention. But maybe Quick Esports can make some changes in the roster department to help out.
Okay, well, Danit is going to be taking up a DPS role here. Shax is going to take a back seat. So I'm interested in this choice here. I feel like the last time we ended up getting a chance to see Danit, it was on a tank role, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, and he played Torb on first map, I think. Is that him?
Yeah, I can't remember.
That was a really quick map. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that map passed in a blink of an eye. Jen, I'm not sure that I stored that one in my memory bank.
Somebody played Torb, and I hope I don't see the Torb, but
I don't
could
know
be
if
an
we'll
answer.
see the Torb, but yeah, like so it's cool to see Janet sub into this roster. Maybe it is just a little bit of a fresh perspective that'll help to get this team back on track.
And trying to get all their subs to have playtime and just change things up. I thought Shax did an amazing job. Now we salute him. He can rest easy. This could be potentially the final map of Quick Esports, because this is SSG's choice. And what a great dive map this is. A lot of high grounds. This can be very open. A lot of space that you gotta take quickly. But maybe Quick Esports can fall back to some rush. Maybe the Mauga they're feeling. If they scrim that comp the most, go back to what you're confident in. You might as well lose playing your own game than lose panicking and going to comps you don't know.
It's a great point. If Mauga's gonna be the sauce, then gotta go with Comfort. It's just tough because the reason why we ended up seeing so much Mauga in the first place was because of that patch that came through. The 8% ultimate decrease there for Sombra to be able to get the EMP. That was very powerful to see the Reaper and the Sombra combo together. And then we end up seeing the Mauga that has the more impactful cardiac overdrive, as well as just being able to get a bit more of that overrun charge damage when he does slam down at the end of that cooldown. And there were just a lot of pieces of the puzzle that came together to make Mauga and the rest of the supports and DPS in those different comps just like ultra powerful. There is staying power for the Mauga, but I just don't know if that's gonna be enough. And I'm with you. Orisa feels better to me. I'm actually super surprised maybe not to see Danit try the Doomfist into the Winston.
Oh god.
Yeah.
YOLO at that point, I guess, but I'd rather see Rush, or just I wonder what Fi is gonna do, because like you alluded to, like he used the Reaper on King's Row to act as a sort of counter. And I'm seeing Fi try his best, all these different hit scans. You know, we saw Cassidy, Reaper, Sojourn, whatever. And I don't think there's anything he can do, because it's just when your team is getting gapped that way, there's only so much you could do as an individual. But if they do resort to the rush, I think Reaper could be nice. The only issue is when you face a Sojourn, Reaper lacks the range. And teleporting in pro play, you don't get away with that like you do in your ranked games. We saw it even yesterday when Reapers teleport around on Esperan'ca. Sojourn can just watch where the teleport goes and have the headshot lined up. And Sparker's that guy. So I would be worried about Fi trying to pull that off against a team as good as SSG.
I'm with you there. It's like Reaper, it's the Symmetra teleporter too that SpaceStation Gaming have always sniffed out. Even going back to our very first map where we had Ilios on Ruins, you saw the teleporter come out and instant jumps in from the Winston, instant disruptor shots to just get that little bit of damage there to soften up those targets, make them better for Winston to Tesla cannon down and cleave. And so it's tough. I feel for Quick Esports in this moment. The writing feels like it's on the wall in some ways, but maybe they can surprise us.
And just taking any maps at all will help the map differential when it comes to crunching down the standings and who qualifies and who moves forward. So I think it's still a good learning opportunity, and Quick Esports should just give it their all. And now that Danid is in, all the weight is on his shoulders if he was a tour player or not. How is he gonna help maybe rally the troops? Because Danid does bring a lot of experience in that DPS role in the flex department. So maybe he can help coordinate this MAGA teleport, which Quick Esports tried to do on Ilios, but just didn't have time to set up before SSG took initiative.
That is possible. I am still remembering him for the Doomfist, I think is why I'm like, oh yeah, he was a tank player. I'm remembering that now. But if you're Doomfist one trick, are you actually a tank player? Or are you just DPS reincarnated as a beefy tank that punches people like a actual One Punch Man? But you know, go get that skin. Actually, fantastic.
Yeah, go get the skin.
Wait, I don't know if you can get it anymore, but that was one of my favorite collabs. Anyway,
Danid better have it, because he should also beat the allegation. I don't think he's a one trick anymore, but sometimes when you're known as a one trick, you can't escape the banner that people put on you. So yeah, Quick Esports with a type of rush using the Symmetra teleporter could be neat, and even then, Danid can build up a lot of DPS off of the Winston bubble. But when some of the shots are coming in, shutting that down. But Fi can pick things up, and who's remaining is Quick Esports to start a lead.
Fantastic. Early progress means that you get a chance to play up across this bridge. It gives you some good ground for Fi to cover. Danid as well with the teleporter can also help to be able to close that gap. So it already seems to be working out pretty well. Although as I say that, where was Danid? Where was he? Why was he so far back?
I guess. I'm not sure. Either way, Quick Esports. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not like your main healer. It's not like Don is missing. So they can just focus on taking their own bridge and having Fi poke them down. Ideally, before this dive comes in, this will force them down. SSG, do not give up any real estate. Quick Esports stole the bot though, and that's sort of the most important thing. Danid has made his way back, but Quick Esports have had their forces dwindled down, and SSG are done playing with their food.
Oh, and like Don had no support there. Like he went in with the overrun, didn't have any backup to finish off the back line of SpaceStation, and so that's gonna be a fight win for SpaceStation, and maybe even taking the lead. If so many ults too, like they've got basically the full bag to throw at the next one.
Better not fumble that bag.
No, please don't. But you know, throw all 5 and maybe that's what we call a fumble.
Depending on what value you get out of it. But I like that Psycho was on the flank and he's got the pulse. And Quick Esports using the teleport just to establish themselves on bridge. And it's going well so far. Never mind. It is not going well anymore. Psycho didn't even need to use the pulse to kill ya. Danid is missing, and without that professional taxi, Quick Esports need to reset.
They need to reset, but that is the point captured. So close spawns unlocked for SpaceStation. Still no ults used up to this moment. Psycho able to get a big pick onto Fi, and that continues to blow these doors open for SpaceStation to walk to. Sparker also has the overclock, but like where the Quick Esports, they were behind them. Now they have to walk all the way out in the open with no shield to cover them. They have to wait for Danon to get this teleporter online to just try to get through this choke.
Okay, well, Don, there's a lot of D's, but Don is trying to lead that, has the sound bear with them. Quick Esports establish themselves, didn't really kill much. Now the re-engage, followed by Landon with the Kitsune rush. And oh, Hadi is just punching at double speed and beats Fi down. He doesn't have the jump to escape, and that's good on SSG to realize the importance of these cooldowns. And as soon as you see the Sojourn slide being used, that's the perfect moment to dive in. Cage fight seems like a tilter there. Had his team behind him, but SSG focused on down, so not going to work out there.
I mean, the Winston bubble down too meant that there is no help available for Fi to get some railgun shots in. Danon was also blocked from being able to use the symmetric beam, and it's been this bubble placement that's been a huge difference maker here for Hadi on the Winston. Shutting off all of those avenues for support for Danon. I don't think I can even blame Don there. But Danon is actually going to make a switch up. You've got the Bastion. This card is getting so close to the end, and Fi is down again here as Sparker's able to get the better of him.
Hadi will have more time to chew his gum, though. I was just thinking about, like, man, it would be funny to do a listening, because I bet there's just not much being said. And actually, I want to hear that gum being chewed, so let's go and listen in with SSG.
Everyone's okay. I can just touch the point here below.
Back, guys. I'm almost
Just
back.
park the bus in this area. I will touch point.
Yeah.
Wait, they're not.
There is in.
Okay, Mauga point.
Mauga under. Can we just go back
Actually,
line?
Go main,
Just go back
over.
line, just go back line, yeah.
3, 2, 1, go over. Go.
I can't.
You want to kill it?
I'm a Bastion.
Bastion
Bastion
alone.
right.
Bastion.
Bastion. I'm living.
You're not to be.
Okay, switch main.
I have Curio.
Got him.
Hadi, don't worry. I'm with you.
Hey, push him.
Can we
Ready,
do
swap. Let's go.
Swim the slide.
The one, looting. Let's
Push left.
look, man.
Bastion right. Full torque.
There's no shout. There's no shout.
I'm gonna kill for
Certain
cap.
Mauga left.
I can go on Bastion. I can go on
Go for
Bastion.
cap.
Yeah,
Main for heals.
Yeah, let's go.
My ult.
Mauga in.
Bastion.
Bastion. Mauga left.
Bastion forming.
Mauga.
Third one,
Bastion one forming. Bastion one even go for him.
Can we push together on it?
Keep a bubble. Bastion a turret inside. Bastion kill.
Yeah, I'm with you. Everyone's still behind.
Blue.
Oh my god. Not peeking.
Third think one bar.
Mauga on slam. I have no slide.
Kills in one.
Get the cap.
Mauga.
Okay.
P1.
Mauga one.
The P1.
Bastion one.
Mauga. Blue one.
Mauga.
My king. That's okay, I died after the end.
What a game.
No guns.
Psycho intervene.
I still hear that. What a game.
What a game.
Full sarcasm intended. I didn't get to hear the gum being chewed, but I heard somebody getting chewed, and it was Quick Esports at the end.
Great comms, though. I love getting a chance to hear the insider information. Like, you could hear them calling out different disengage mechanisms, like Sojourn no slide, Bastion on the right. Just calling out some different locations so that the team can formulate the game plan of how do we methodically and meticulously take out all of these pieces one by one with our dive.
And Psycho even spraying. Even Psycho just didn't have to say much. Didn't say anything at all when he put the spray up and just kept pointing at it. Said, I'm a verified Overwatch League player. And they prove that they are just certified winners. Big congratulations to SSG. Let's go check in with the desk to see what they think.
Thank you so much, ladies. Yeah, what a game.
We nailed the Pred.
We got it right.
Yeah.
Hey, never in doubt, SSG. I got you guys. Yeah.
Always believed.
Always believed. Never in doubt. 3-0 victory for SSG. They were looking a lot better there compared to the first game. You know, what did they do right for this game, and how did they get the win, guys?
I mean, I think they were just really comfortable playing.
This is an enormous skill gap. Let's be honest. This is an enormous skill gap.
Okay, you say it, Jake.
I mean,
you pop off, King.
All right. I'm sorry, but this is like you could tell even from the comms, right? Those are great comms, by the way. Like that's very clean. Like it's not like the most exciting, fun thing to listen to, other than at the end. I love the funny Astros call. Oh, it's cool. I died after it didn't count in the stats, guys. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Like they're going for the deathless games, but those are clean comms, and you notice there's nobody like hard microing the team there. Like back in the day, I think, and the way people think about team comms, a lot of people think, we all need to do exactly the same thing at exactly the same time. That's not realistic, especially not in Dive. Everyone is just info calling for each other and trusting that each person can take the information they need, make the right call decision for themselves, and continue to fight effectively. And really, I think that's how Overwatch 2 is played, is all about those just like reactive, communicative calls. And so really well played here. I think as a team, as individuals, the gap here was just pretty obvious, right, with how incredibly dominant the series was. I think Quick Esports definitely going to be back to the drawing board for them. And I think for SpaceStation, this is a nice, opportunity to reassert yourself, build that confidence going on into the future of the bracket. Yes, you took that tough loss to ENCE, but you showed yourself that you can still do it. And here on the Winston comp, right, the more high skill comp that enables individuals, they look wonderful.
Yeah, Psycho popping off on the Echo, just like Kevster did against them just a couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
Had enormous impact when it comes to trying to play this Mauga composition, right? So it was kind of ironic that SpaceStation got this win with these really clean Echo dives, especially here on King's Row. I mean, holding them on first point here. Just repeatedly, I was in the back just like looking at these dives, and they were flanking around on King's Row point A and always finding picks where it was the Sojourn, spotting out Lucios, and putting themselves at a positional advantage. So really clean dives from SpaceStation, and I mean, here was just like kind of clean up duty, and I got some bullying going on later. I'll showcase, but it really was just clean dives from SpaceStation throughout, and showcasing what they can do with Psycho in the lineup instead of Backbone, right?
And of course, the player of the match is Psycho. And Jake, we were talking in the green room how having Psycho for SSG is a big plus for them because having a player that could that's really good at playing Tracer and also as Echo as well. You said that was a big plus for them, right?
Yeah. So I think for Psycho into this roster, you look at like for instance the London roster the last season of the Overwatch League. I think they were always missing like a really just high aim skill flanker player. Backbone and Sparker I think can both sort of fill the flanker role, but I don't think it's exactly their comfort zone or their strongest heroes, where for Psycho, that's exactly his wheelhouse. And then on top of that, I think you got Funny Astro and the Lucio, who brings some of the strongest individual mechanics on the hero. So compared to the past iterations of this roster, I mean, I think this SpaceStation lineup is the strongest we've seen from them. Right. And I think a dominant result like this is exactly what they needed to set themselves up for a future here in the lower bracket.
All right, Johnny, illustration time. Show me that bullying thing that you're talking about.
All right.
What happened?
It's SpaceStation playing this Echo Dive, and they're doing it quite beautifully, and especially here on Esperan'ca when, Dan is trying to play the Mauga composition. So I'll just highlight the compositions for you one more time. We obviously have a pretty stacked composition from Quick here. We play the Mauga. We want to utilize the Cardiac Overdrive, and we want to teleport around using the Symmetra to really play more of a brawly kind of style. Whereas on the side of SpaceStation, we got the divers. So we can go ahead and play this out. We're kind of like skirmishing. It's the first fight here. And we're going to see a pause when these kill feed kills come out here. We can see how this fight ends up. So right around here, we can pause here. We can see that there's actually 3 kills in the kill feed right here. And Quick Esports, they're doing a pretty good job here. You traded effectively. You got 2 picks, whereas SpaceStation only secured the 1. So, all right. Great for us. Now we can go ahead and push this bot through, right? We can go ahead and play it out. But actually, SpaceStation, very cognizant of the situation. We're like, okay, we're not going to fight you anymore. We'll back off. And because we have more mobility, we're playing the Winston and Tracer. Wait a minute. We got a pick, right? Yeah, we got a pick onto the Symmetra. So why let's go hunting. Hadi leaps back towards the spawn, unsuspecting Symmetra right here. And, well, you got a pincer attack. A Tracer and a Winston pick off the Symmetra once more. So now, while SpaceStation, they got their 2 spawners coming back. And once more, this is a different fight. Dane being isolated on the Symmetra, a clean dive from Psycho and Hadi, just isolating the Symmetra, caught off on guard, unnoticed. And you know, it's a tough game. It's a tough game if you're the Symmetra here. Just so coordinated dive from the side of SpaceStation, and they go ahead and clean it up. So finding different dive scenarios to get the man advantage in these fights.
Yeah, I will say the sim is just so hard to execute. I think it can work, right? The sim Mauga, it's all about TPing your team around. But I mean, who better than these guys to understand the strengths and weaknesses of a hero like Sim? They're very experienced using it themselves, and so they know how to punish it. They know what its flaws are as a hero. And you see when the Winston comes out, those dives, I mean, they're just brutally punishing by SpaceStation.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a lot of comps and a lot of this 5-head moves. You know, that's why we have a special interview set up to hear more from SSG. We got Coach Christopher on the line to talk to us about what happened for this game. All right, Christopher, thank you so much for joining us on the interview. Big congratulations on getting the win. I'm just gonna start off first. Of course, you know, your first match didn't really go as planned, but you guys did get the win for the second match as well. So as a coach, you know, like how do you sort of rally up your team after having a tough loss? Like when I guess your players could be sort of like be on the down, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I guess hopefully everyone on the team's experienced enough to kind of realize that if we lose this next game, then we're probably going to be like jobless in a few weeks. So probably best to suck up the tilt and really try for this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point, right? I think something about having your back against the wall, at least as a veteran player, you know, it can kind of get people to lock in. I'm sort of curious compositionally. We saw you guys really force the Winston in this series. Do you think that's the best comp, or do you guys just really feel like this allows you to have the biggest skill gap on an opponent like Quick Esports?
I don't know. I think the problem we've got is, to be honest with you, our scrum results have been overwhelmingly successful. So I guess we kind of figured that most comps that we're playing are working. It feels like the Winston is really reasonable. I think that like the Mauga can win, but I think you have to play it like pretty London style to be able to make it work. And it definitely has its weaknesses. So I don't know. I think it's fine. Like I feel like the meta, to be honest with you, the big problem we've got, unsurprisingly, is that we've had like 48 hours to figure out like the specifics of the meta. So I think no one can really like say with hand on heart they know what's like super viable right now.
Yeah, so obviously a hot fix, not optimal when it comes to, you know, preparing for these conditions. What was your mindset this week preparing for the matches themselves? When it comes to compositions, were you trying a bunch of stuff out in scrims, or were you thinking, hey, these are the compositions we practice the most, let's just try to rely on them because, you know, they're a known quantity in that regard?
Yeah, I think exactly what you just said. Like, I think my mentality was very much, I would rather play comps where we have some sort of system and some sort of like, we know how to play it. You know, when we were in Swiss Stage, we were pretty much like a dive one trick team, ironically. And then the Mauga patch came out and we got really good at the Mauga, like never lost a scrim for a week. So when they nerfed my boy because of you, Jake, then that was a
sorry, bro.
That was a shame. So yeah, we had to kind of figure out, maybe go back to the dive, maybe keep trying the Mauga.
Yeah, so I'm curious. One more thing I want to ask is about, you know, rosters you've worked with before. You know, a lot of these guys, obviously, you've coached before, but having Psycho and Funny Astro in the team now, what do they bring to the squad, and what do you see as sort of that unlocking for the team and your potential to go further potentially in this bracket?
Yeah, I think Psycho specifically, I think complements like Jamie's hero pool pretty well. Like I think the heroes that Jamie really good at are like the opposite of the heroes that Psycho is really good at. So I feel like it allows us to maybe be like a little bit less one tricky than we might have been in the past. You may have noticed. So I think that kind of works. I mean, Astro obviously I think is just like one of, if not the best Lucio in the world, and you know we've always been a Lucio-based team. So I think for him, he doesn't necessarily add anything new, just maybe better mechanics, maybe.
All right. Anything else, guys? Are you guys good?
No, thank you very much.
All right. No, yeah. Christopher, thank you so much for the insight and good luck moving forward.
All right. See you guys later.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody. That was Christopher, Coach Christopher from SSG. I love that guy.